Hey, welcome. Hey, what's up? This is Go, my favorite sports team. World record number... in sports podcasts.
I really hope that for whatever reason, like, I don't think that's like a really bad sign when you're just flashing numbers, but you never know in today's day and age.
It's not one string of number. You just got to add them up. A secret. It's a secret for the rankings.
That's the secret code, by the way. You have to solve that now.
And it was for video watchers only. All you listeners, fuck.
No, wait, can we like add in like a bunch of like sounds of just your hands rubbing together?
Just
some
get
ASMR.
some like wet meat glooping. Anyway, I literally just flew back into town from something I can't tell you about yet, but will someday. Someday I'll tell all these stories. Someday
you'll know.
I got so many crazy stories to tell as soon as Iron is out. As soon as it's out, I have so many stupendously dumb and weird and fun and great things have occurred. But
well, we can tell them about bleep 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 bleep. By the way, editor, that means bleep it out. Bleep bleep bleep.
No, leave it. Him saying bleep. That's this. That's perfect. That's great.
But anyway, I'm Tyler, your master of balls and holes. Markiplier needs no introduction, the man himself. But
hello.
If you guys didn't think Mark was dedicated to this podcast, he literally came straight from the airport here. I think he's dedicated to making this glorious content for you guys. So
it would have been better because I would have had to got a microphone from like Target or something, and they're just really, really bad selections. I think even my MacBook would have been a better microphone, but I didn't have time anyway.
Yeah. But there's important Caitlin Clark news. As we know, this is the Caitlin Clark podcast.
We are the number Caitlin Clark podcast in the nation.
Apparently, Caitlin Clark was made out of butter.
I always suspected.
All right, at the Iowa State Fair is honoring Caitlin Clark with a life-size butter figure. So Iowa, which is where she went to college, and absolutely came onto the scene as the epic basketball player that she is, I guess somebody decided to debut a Caitlin Clark butter sculpture. And it's the second consecutive year in which artists created the figure for the University of Iowa standout. So they actually did it last year, but it didn't get as much attention as it does now that she's in the WNBA. And their tagline is, "It doesn't get much butter than this."
And this is the second time they've made a butter sculpture. Is this like one of those things you say, I will make a butter sculpture of Caitlin Clark every year until she notices me?
I don't know, but you want to see this sculpture?
Yes, of course I do. Oh, that's so much more intricate than I ever could have imagined. That can't actually be butter.
That is actually butter.
That has to be like butter on top of something. It wouldn't have the structural capacity to hold up the entire figure. Also, what a chat of a jawline they gave Caitlin Clark there. I think it literally just...
The thing is, if butter is cold enough, it will hold together like this.
It's in a room with other people with short sleeves and sun hats.
It looks like you can see a reflection of glass. It's encased in glass. It's behind glass.
Glass isn't a good insulator.
Would you scrape a little bit of butter off that for your toast?
No.
Okay, just wanted to ask and make sure.
Doesn't look good at all.
But it's butter.
Is it?
I think it's 100% butter.
There's no analysis done. That could be yellow clay for all I know.
It clearly says butter sculpture.
Well, the internet has said many things.
Well, these are news outlets too, okay?
News outlets, schmoutlets. Until I get an actual taste test of that sculpture, I'm not going to say it's butter.
You heard it here. Iowa State Fair, send us some of the Caitlin Clark butter.
Send the leg. Send to the leg. Or the arm, I guess. I don't want the head. That'd be weird.
That would be weird. What about the hair? Is the hair weird? The hair's kind of weird.
Hair's kind of weird, yeah.
Hair's kind of weird.
Send the leg.
That's the butter sculpture. But I have more news.
You don't have year one butter sculpture?
I don't have the year one.
Man, I bet that
I've only have this year's. There's probably the first year, but I'd have to, listen, I have other news I have to bring to your attention, all right?
I must have amped up the yellow in that one because every other picture I'm seeing of these butter sculptures are way paler. I think they helped the saturation on that first one.
Yeah, maybe the picture adjustment was there. But this is other Caitlin Clark news.
Oh, cool.
All right. So apparently a ref told Caitlin Clark she was being disrespectful to the game and gave her a technical foul.
In the middle of the game, the ref said that?
Yeah. So here's what happened.
I got a technical for basically being mad at myself because I missed.
She punched the wall because she's mad that she missed shots.
Disrespectful to the game of basketball. So I don't know. It reminded me of the technical that I got in college where I said, "Damn it," where it's like a personal frustration. Had nothing to do with my team. Had nothing to do with their reffing. Had nothing to do with other team. It was just because I'm a competitor, and I felt like I should have been making more shots.
Disrespectful to the game of as if no NBA player, no football player hasn't thrown their helmet, thrown a chair.
Yeah,
there was a whole meme about what coach was the guy that threw chairs onto the basketball court.
Oh, he got technicals for it.
Of course, but he was like his thing. This was way back in the day, I think.
Oh, I can't remember his name. He's very famous.
Yeah.
All I can think of is Bobby Huggins, but that's not right.
Either way, there was a coach that did that. This is punching a padded post.
Oh, who was it? Bobby Knight. That's it.
Bobby Knight.
Bob Knight. Yeah. Yeah, that was the chair throwing guy.
Even The Simpsons.
This is in 1985. He got ejected for throwing chairs.
Yeah, because I know about it because I think The Simpsons or someone like that made a reference to it, and that's the only reason I know about it. But I mean, I think even like football, like international football, soccer players taking shitty dives is more disrespectful to the sport of soccer and football than being mad.
Yes, flopping,
yes, than being mad that you're not performing at your best, or even being mad at another player. That's the competitive nature of it.
I literally thought you knew something about other international football players or soccer players. I thought you were going to say they took a shit on the field, and I'm like, that's disrespectful to the game.
I don't know why you thought I would say that specifically. Did that happen?
Because you said they done shitty, it went in along the lines of shitty things, and I thought you were going to say have done shit. They've shit on the field. I don't know why, but I was filling in the blanks of what you were saying.
Editors
as
put
they
in
shit on
footage
the
of
field.
the only known incident where a football player shat on the field. I'll take American or international.
Seems strange that he picks players with flair, and then all of a sudden we've got things like Waddle hitting long balls out of his own defence, where you'd be far happier seeing Waddle, as he did when I think he should have had a penalty, taking men on in the top half of the field, and Barnes doing that. Gascoigne playing in the top half of the field.
Oh, yeah, but the whole point of technical fouls is usually when you are doing something that intrudes upon the process of the game. Usually it's yelling at the refs or arguing with the refs, doing things that are like aggressive or over the top towards like interrupting the process of the game and affecting other people in a way that is negative. I don't see any negative thing occurring from that other than her being frustrated at herself. And she was talking about a technical she got when she was in college. She cursed to herself at herself and got a technical for that.
Yeah, that's like me when I was throwing and I stumbled out of the throwing ring and I go like, shit. And then I got completely disqualified from the entire tournament because I went, shit, to myself.
Yeah, and that's
because I fell and it was like just shit. It was that. Yeah. And I got disqualified for the whole thing. I'm like, what? But they didn't tell me until after I competed in discus. I think I talked about this at one point. I already threw discus and then they're like, nothing counted.
Nothing counted. So they made you do the thing and then they were like, nope, doesn't matter.
You cursed.
I could understand it if there were a bunch of small children around, but I don't think there were small children that close to you to hear you go, shit.
It was a high school like track meet. It was
high schoolers are small children. They are now to us at least.
Well.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I always think of when I think of like flagrant fouls in like the WNBA, I remember this video clip. I don't remember what the teams were, but there was one player. They were like in the middle of like some pause in the game, and one of the players like kind of gently put her hand on the back of the ref because she was trying to get around.
Oh yeah,
and the ref goes
foul.
Like,
you touched me! You're out of here!
You know,
There was an instance in American football where a ref like stuck his hip out to like block a player, and then he threw a flag, a personal like unsportsmanlike conduct on the dude from, I think it was the Bears, and I was like, what the fuck, man?
As if there aren't cameras on everybody that can see everything.
I know.
I don't know.
But yeah, there's a lot worse reasons to get a technical. Regardless, Caitlin Clark went on to say, like, it kind of motivated her to push even harder during the game because it got a lot of that fuck you energy.
Good, good.
And so they ended up winning. So
yeah, good.
Also, they looked phenomenal coming back from the Olympics, simply because her team was extremely rested because, I think they sent one player to the Olympics and it wasn't Caitlin Clark. Also, apparently the announcers weren't giving her credit and stuff like that. There's been really interesting, like, subtle disrespect happening to Caitlin Clark recently, and she's been handling it very gracefully.
Haters gonna hate. That's what they always say.
Haters gonna hate. Sorry.
Our whole podcast is gonna get taken down.
Yeah, you're right. Shoot. That's right. Taylor Swift.
Take Tyler's bleep and put it over there.
Put it over. That's how you bleep stuff.
That's our censor noise forever. Anytime we need to censor something, render that out as bleep.wave and save it on the Dropbox so that we can have it for every future occasion when something needs to be censored. It will always be that now and forever. Even in Distractable, if they ever need to bleep something out, get Tyler's voice going, bleep. And then also include him going, editors, that means censor something out. Bleep. I want that. Give it to Lixian also so that I can use it in all my videos.
Sometimes I still hear his voice.
No.
Miss you, big guy. Oh, that's funny. That's so funny.
Anyway, Caitlin Clark, listen. I don't know. What am I going to say?
Don't you want to hang out with us? Is that what you're going to say?
No, I was going to say, like, don't let him get you down, but I was like, what am I going to say that you don't already know? I can't give an encouraging speech to save my life.
Do you be you?
Maybe don't disrespect the game. What's wrong with you? You had a butter sculpture made out of you and went right to your head. Also, Pat McAfee's all pussy. Just getting it all out.
Okay. Adding more fuel to the fire. Did you see there were a couple surprise appearances that occurred at the Olympics?
I might have seen
And we
that.
already talked about Flavor Flav, and we already talked about
Flavor
Snoop Dogg.
Flav.
That's literally what we're supposed to call him because apparently
Flavor Flav?
Flavor Flav.
It's not Flava Flav?
Yes. There was a Reddit post to accuse on us for this exact thing.
Oh, it is Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
But he goes Flavor Flav.
I think that's just how he talks.
Well, then we should emulate how he talks.
I don't know if that's...
I go, my name is Markiplier, and people go, oh, it's Markiplier. And I go, fuck you. Fuck you, go to hell. Go to hell and fuck you. I don't care if it's spelled one way or another. All right, whatever. Sure.
Yeah, apparently he's corrected people in the past, though. There was a accuse on the Reddit about it.
Well, I'm wrong then, but I won't admit it publicly.
Anyway, but there were some surprise appearances. One of the coolest ones, in my opinion, is right here, was the whale spotting. So during the surfing, you got some whales.
I'd be out. I'd be gone. I give up. I don't need the Olympics. I don't need it. I'm good. Goodbye.
What?
I'd be out. No, I ain't doing that.
You're not.
If I was
The whales
surfing
are
out
too
there,
much.
You know how big a whale is? I sure it looks cute and small on a video. No. If there's one, there's more. I ain't doing it. I don't care. That thing jumps out of the water and lands on me. I'm not only dead, they'll never find my body.
You're that afraid of the ocean.
Yes. It's not a joke. It's true. I can't do it.
I get it, but I know whales are huge, but they weren't anywhere near the people.
It doesn't matter. It's a reminder. Oh, yeah, I'm in the ocean.
Where things exist.
Where things are that are huge.
Another surprising appearance was Wade actually showed up in the Olympics footage. Wade showed up. With his biggest fan, showcased his clear brand here, being the Lord of Minions, Ugandan athlete, Tarsis. I don't know how to say that last name. Orogot.
Orogot?
Yeah. Tarsus Orogot socks, literally sporting Wade socks. He's got to be the fastest fan of Wade's.
For everyone who's just listening and is very confused, it's Minions from the Minions movie and Despicable Me, but they look very sad and distraught. Honestly, they look like they are in great pain for having someone's legs and feet shoved inside them. So I don't think that they enjoy it.
Which really showcases the expression that Wade tends to have consistently.
Yeah, utter depression.
So apparently Wade has a big fan from Uganda who's very fast.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, he didn't make the final, but
well, probably because of the socks.
They weren't really aerodynamic, with those glasses and everything.
I mean, when they're that low to the ground, maybe.
I mean, everything counts. When you're talking about fractions of a second.
I don't know. You saw some of those female sprinters with big hair, and that didn't seem to stop the American chick from winning.
Well, that's because she just dominates entirely. You're talking about Sydney?
Maybe. I don't remember her name, but she had a lot of hair.
Yeah.
And you would think that would cause some drag, but didn't seem to stop her at all. I've never seen anyone with better posture than the entire women's sprinting team.
Oh, yeah.
Straight spine, nice low shoulders, just posture was immaculate. And I don't know if that's just sprinters in general, but just incredible posture. Made me realize how much I've destroyed my spine from playing all these computer games all my life, and I will never have that kind of posture. Everyone, please stand up straight. Please do it now. You got to start early or it'll never happen. And then your spine will start slowly slooping over. And then when you're an old person, your chin will be on the ground.
Yeah. Are you talking about Sydney McLaughlin?
Yes. No, maybe so. I'm not. No, Shikari.
Shikari?
Yeah, Shikari.
Shikari with all her hair, yeah.
Yeah. She had big hair, and she was running with her hair out.
No, she's fast too.
Yeah, but didn't seem to drag her down.
But there was something else that dragged her down, but we'll cover that when we get into the controversy section. Because we got some issues that happen.
I know what you're talking about. But I'd like to just put it out there as a theory. Maybe she's learned a running technique where it spins behind her like a windmill and it pushes her further. You
think a whale's big, right? Those
Most
minion socks
people do think a whale's big.
Right.
I'm not unique for having. I'm not. It's not a controversial opinion. They're big. Everyone will agree. I dare someone to come out on the subreddit and say oh, whales aren't that big. Shut up. Everyone, get them. Get them. Everyone. As soon as you see that thread appear on the subreddit, get them. Get them. I don't care. Get them.
Challenge whale's bigness. We dare you.
People use their dicks as a coat. That's true. Look it up. When there was a lot of whaling. When there was a lot of whaling. Hold on. This is true. It's true.
I didn't think of whale dicks. I thought somebody put that.
This is true. This is a true story.
I thought you were saying they use their own dicks as a coat.
No, humans use their dicks as a coat. When there was a lot of whaling,
humans use whale dicks as a coat.
Whale dicks as coats because they're so huge, and that should give an indication of how big their entire thing, their being is.
Well, speaking of dicks,
no, I didn't finish my story.
Okay, continue about your whale dicks.
That's it. When there was whaling, they were like, "What do we do with the dick?" I was like, "Well, maybe we take the skin." Jesus, if I wear that out on a Saturday night, all the ladies are gonna be like,
"Oh my god,
wow,
dude,
what a dick!" Oh.
They'll get a scent of the pheromones from the whale dick.
Everyone loves chum.
I just picture that's the guy who came up with the concept of making them in the coats.
You like my cologne? It's oud de chum.
It's oud de chum.
Oud de chum. It's chum de toilet. Yeah, babe, come back to my place. Live in a boat. Oh.
Yes, because the French were avid whalers.
Oh, I live on the boat. I mean, they had access to the Mediterranean Sea and the Channel. That's the ocean. Isn't the Mediterranean Sea technically saltwater, or is it not?
It's saltwater.
Yeah, it's saltwater. So
I'm pretty sure to be
whales.
Classified as a sea, it has to be saltwater.
There's probably whales in there, yeah.
It probably occasionally happens.
Yeah.
But we got on the topic of big things, and we got on the topic of dicks. It's time to reel ourselves back in and talk about The biggest fail of the Olympics.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I didn't actually see it. I haven't seen the video.
All right.
I haven't seen this. This will be new to me.
This has got to be the biggest fail of the Olympics. French pole vaulter Anthony
So this is French pole vaulter.
Was disqualified because of his sausage.
Oh. That is I thought people were exaggerating. Wow. I didn't do this as like a segue intentionally.
No,
but,
you didn't know it was coming.
I didn't know this was coming. I just showed up here from the airport, guys. That is so much more pronounced of an impact than I thought people were like exaggerating it. I thought it was like overblown, like, oh yeah, his bulge kind of grazed in and tipped off. That is full on dick wrapped around.
He like grabbed it. The dick grabbed on.
That dick betrayed him. That dick hates that guy.
So the craziest part is obviously that took him out of medal contention, right?
Of course, they disqualified him on the spot.
Oh, yeah,
right?
I mean, you know, it was unfortunate that he had such a hard time pole vaulting, and he knocked the crossbar by catching his rod on it. You know,
of course. And
but his response was, "You create more buzz for your package than for your performances."
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what he said in a TikTok. Was like his point of view is, "Wow, I can't believe I created more buzz with that than any of the fact that I made the Olympics, stuff like that." But apparently he got offered a deal from a porn platform worth $250,000 just because of this instance.
And I don't think he would accept it, right? Look, I know that those offers sometimes, like, it makes news headlines that they'll make the offer, and I guarantee the porn sites just make the offer to get the news headline about it.
For sure.
I almost think like it's probably more of an insult than anything. Like, that's just like, come on. It happens more prevalently in like female, not necessarily athletes, but any kind of
you're talking about
the Hawk Tuas of the world.
I thought you were talking about they're getting awked at because of their appearance as opposed to their performance.
One way or another, it's like some incidental, like 15 seconds of fame, and they'll get a porn deal, like Octomom, like they got a porn deal right after, but for something like completely unrelated. And it's like, it's almost depressing to me, because it's like, man, it's like you can have a joke about it in general, and then it's like, oh, the porn thing. But I guess everyone is talking about this guy's dick, so I guess it makes sense. Like, I get it.
Yeah, so we got 12th place. Bleep, 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 bleep. Jesus.
Censor me, said bleep me out.
Jesus Christ.
Uses bleep me out.
But that was Anthony Ammirati. All right, so there was another meme that happened. I think you and I can both explain this, because people don't understand what's happening here, and I think we both know. All right, so they're zooming in. There's this guy just laying there, right?
Oh yeah, I know what's happening.
Yeah,
this is obvious.
It's very obvious.
All right, we'll let everyone at home who, I don't know if we can show this video or not. So to describe it, it's zooming in on Olympics. There are people standing in the court, and there's someone that's laying down.
It's at volleyball, indoor volleyball.
And it seems odd because he's laying down with like one arm out, and the obvious answer is he's trying to get as low as possible to not block the cameras.
Yeah.
This is super obvious. There's
it's
a bunch
incredibly
of cameras
obvious.
He doesn't want to get in the way of the shot. This is the only thing he can do to not block the shot,
while still being the spot where he's supposed to be later on.
Exactly, yeah.
They didn't like have him a spot to walk off or anything like that. He was probably he's probably a person who's organizing the teams to make sure they're in the right spot. He's the Olympic officiant or judge for the volleyball tournament.
In all honesty, he's going above and beyond.
Oh, yeah.
Someone in that position would probably just sit down and like kind of stoop a little bit to make sure they're not blocking. Maybe right under the cameras would be good because they get out of the way. He's clearing for all the photographers because all the production is happening from that side. Obviously, this is the back of the athletes.
Yeah.
So there's no cameras on the backside except for maybe one or two to catch another angle of action. But all the focus is right there. All the sports photographers are there. The audience is what took a phone video of this. Like, this guy is doing his job excellently.
No.
If I was running a production and he did this, I'd be like, bonus, raise, well done.
Love you.
That's
great
so
job.
great. All the photographers are like, they don't even see him. But if when they see this, they're like, oh, thank fuck, someone actually knows how to do their job.
Yeah, and get out of our way so that it doesn't ruin our shot. Because a lot of these cameras are running on live feeds. Some of them are on recordings. People get paid based on their pictures and their ability to do this work. And so he's allowing them to do their job to the best of their ability. As you can see, the video cameras are right there. They're probably panning across as you have 3 teams lined up here. I don't know if it was for the medal ceremony or what it was, but there were 3 teams. France is in the middle, US is on the left. I forget who was on the right. Might have been Japan or China, or I don't know what that color is.
I don't know either.
Makes me think like, yeah. So he's literally just staying out of the way. And someone in the audience zoomed this because they thought it was funny and they didn't know what was going on. And to us, it's very obvious.
Admittedly, he is making a funny pose. Like he is very straight bodied. I'd say like he's doing a great job. It's kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Perfect side plank. 10 out of 10.
Oh, great form.
That was one of the other memes. This one is probably my favorite.
Okay. All right.
So it's a sport for golden retrievers. This is a sport for Chica.
I'm ready. Yeah.
See?
I get it. It's very funny.
Yeah.
He's very funny.
So
for all the people at home, it started off with that Australian breaker who
B-girl ray gun
doing her signature moves on the floor, not the kangaroo, and then it cut to a bunch of golden retrievers rolling on their backs in the middle of the field.
So Raygun was the most memeable person in all of the Olympics.
Maybe the most memed. I think there was some other memeable contenders, but definitely the most
actual meme.
The most mocked.
Yes.
Which I think is a different category. And it's unfortunate, but at the same time, there's really good arguments on both sides of this that I think we could explore if you're intending to explore them.
Yes. So the biggest thing is she ended up making it to the Olympics to begin with in breakdancing. And she scored an entire total of 0 points on all of her performances, 0 points with a 0-point overall score. The interesting part is she got mocked because obviously she did not seem qualified to be in that competition to begin with.
Yeah.
There's a lot of very good points as to that. And apparently it also seems that she may not have made her way to the Olympics legitimately. She may have set it up because Australia did not have an official organization body for breaking beforehand, and she helped form it and chose the people that she was competing against, picked the judges, all of that stuff, and went on to qualify herself for the Olympics. That's the supposed story that I have read.
Okay.
And so it's likely obvious. We already talked about this, but this was a performance sport, I think, for the Olympics. They named it as an Olympic sport, but it is not coming back next year and likely will never come back again.
Next Olympics.
Yeah. Not next year. Next Olympics here in LA. And after LA, funnily enough, Australia is hosting. And I don't know if Australia will want to host with the egg on their face after this particular instance.
I don't think all of Australia is embarrassed by this. I think Australia performed very admirably in the Olympics. In a ratio of population to gold medals, they did really, really well.
100%.
But yeah, it's not mistaken that this was quite an embarrassing moment and a really bad time to do it with the introduction of the sport, and especially because it overshadowed so many other incredibly talented breakers. Yes. But here's the thing that I'll say about it. There's plenty of people in other events throughout the entirety of the Olympics that place last, whose performance is terrible, there's plenty of people at the Olympics that are in last place that maybe, there's tons of other athletes in competitive countries that could beat them, even in those that don't make the Olympics. Even like fifth string people could beat some of the other athletes that don't do well in other countries at the Olympics.
But
there's so much spotlight on it. And because it's performance, it's like a bad performance shows up so much more. Whereas like if you're last place in a race, the camera's not even on you. So it's like people don't even know you show up last. And here's what I'll say about it. Like, even if that story was true, there was no Australian breaking official body. And even if that was true, she did go through the motions of organizing it.
Right.
And putting it together, which apparently, if that is true, no one else volunteered to do.
Right.
And so in the short amount of time to prepare for it, it's unfortunate the way it turns out. And I'm not even defending it because like, if that is the case, it's like, well, maybe you should have known. But also, I'm never one to be like, don't chase after if you really believe in yourself, don't do this. Who knew that it would be such a laser focus on this new event that would cause that performance to be so widely broadcast and made fun of? It is a bit of a dogpiling situation, which I'm never a fan of. But at the same time, it's like, I can understand both sides of this. It is unfortunate, but also it's like self-manufactured. And it was really bad for the sport of breaking. So it's like all the goodwill in the world doesn't change the fact that breaking may never come back to the Olympics because of this. Whereas it could have been something really different where people look at all the amazing performances and go like, holy shit, look at these guys go, which I looked at clips afterwards.
Yes.
There were some fucking incredible people there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like just doing the most acrobatics, like same level as the gymnastics in terms of the complexity and difficulty of movement. Never will be seen.
The other thing that goes along with this, breaking was created by a minority community. It was invented by that, and it ended up being showcased, and there was a level of people being upset about it because of the racial tones that exist behind this particular dance style to begin with. And so the fact that the spotlight was on her also with relation to that, and also the fact that she did not perform in a way that is expected for somebody that would make the Olympics in breaking, upset a lot of people as well.
Sure, absolutely. That's totally legitimate. I can't make that judgment for what it is, but at the same time, it also is just like in most, like, well, not most, I can't say that, but in a lot of like culturally based sports and like activities and things like that, wherever it comes from, usually the people that started are more inclusive. You know, they don't really care if it catches on with other communities because it's like, hey, people are appreciating this, and it's going beyond that. But I can't speak to this one in particular, but at the same time, it's like, it is so unfortunate because it's the Olympics.
I know.
It's the Olympics. It's so unfortunate. But I feel like a much more embarrassing sport at the Olympics is race walking.
That's fair.
I feel like there's so many more things to be critical about in the Olympics than this performance, because it's like, it's intentional. People are intentionally focusing on this one as opposed to all the rest. And that's unfair to breaking. That's unfair to it. I feel like that's more damaging by everyone's omission of the other good performances than this one person's bad performance. Correct. It's everyone is complicit. Yeah, everyone's complicit in this. It is not all her fault because everyone's complicit in it. They're not focusing on the other performances. How many people out there that are making fun of this have seen the other performances? Very few, I bet.
I mean, I have. I went out of my way to find it.
Exactly, because we did. But so many other people that just see the meme and just want to be mad don't. Even the people that are championing like, oh, this person doesn't represent it, probably didn't see it.
I watched both the men's and the women's, and I mean, the stuff they were doing was insane. The complexity, the linking it together with the music. To me, I still think, from my standpoint, I don't see it as much of a sport, simply because the objective viewpoint of being able to judge it is extremely difficult. I
saw synchronized swimming.
Yes.
I haven't seen synchronized swimming in a while. That was nuts. I feel I only saw the first round, so I only saw like the American first round performance. I don't know how they did overall. I don't know what the end result was.
They had some insane stuff.
Their Michael Jackson performance.
Yeah.
I don't know how they didn't get #1 that day. That was when they moonwalked underwater. I lost my shit. I was I was like, I'm sold. I always thought it was a bit of a joke too, but I hadn't watched it. I hadn't watched synchronized swimming. And when I saw that, I was like, Jesus, what? How are they doing? What are they doing? When do they breathe?
The strength, the endurance and ability to hold their breath. I mean, you want to talk about hypoxic muscle capability.
I don't even know what those words mean.
Hypoxic is lacking oxygen.
Okay.
So it's something, the reason I know that term is we used it when swimming training. We would do hypoxic exercises where we were not allowed to breathe until we hit the opposite wall, or we could only breathe every 3 strokes. So it's basically limiting your oxygen. And what it does is it trains your body to be more efficient in utilizing oxygen so that you don't waste energy elsewhere.
You breathe through your butthole.
You breathe through the water. Your gills come back.
I mean, that's a technique. You breathe through your butthole. You suck in air all the way down to your butthole.
No, your butt is...
Feel it in your butthole. When you pull a breath in, feel it in your butthole.
Your butt is below the water.
You're pulling that far down. No, you're pulling with your butt. If diaphragm, way weaker than your butthole. Pull from your butthole. Get air all the way down. Not a joke. This is actually a technique. You think I'm joking? I'm not joking.
I'm trying to understand. I thought you were pulling air into your butthole.
You're pulling with your butthole all the way down to your butthole. Breathe through your butthole. Pull. I'm doing it right now. All the way down.
That's about...
Oh. I must fart. This is not a joke. That's actually it's a technique. It is. It's to get like true deep breath and also settle yourself, because when you push all the way down, it also forces you to tighten your core and engage that, because to feel that like compression all the way down, it's a very grounding technique. It helps you like get centered and balanced. It's actually in acting classes they teach it as well. Before you start a performance, you breathe through your butthole so you can get like you can get that support from way below, even below you can tell it in the tone of my voice, like I'm speaking normally now. And when you have it all the way down there, you have that natural tightness, and you can feel like more of the grounding in what you're doing, and you can concentrate with it. It's real. It's a real technique.
I feel like that's more of a mental thing than it is an actual physical thing.
The physical mental connection is very real. Like everyone knows it. Like there are certain things that you can do physically that will change your entire mental state. Like by simply holding your breath, that's another thing you can do. Breath control is a very legitimate thing. It's not going to work miracles, but it does help you focus into certain ways. And by breathing in certain ways, you can train yourself to become Pavlov almost responsive in certain ways to different, like whatever you're trying to do. In acting, it can be like getting into certain moods and being ready for certain things can help you. Again, if you're doing a comedy routine, you could have a certain type of breathing exercise that maybe mimics laughter a bit more, or is the precursor to laughter a bit more. And then you could have certain things, the breathing exercises, if you notice it, like when you actually are crying from real sadness, you breathe in a very specific way. It's almost like choked off. You can't breathe, so it's like really tight, but it's this strange way that you can pull air in from your chest. It's rare. When you breathe through butthole, it's not often called like that, but it's an easy way to like indicate like, okay, I gotta pull her all the way down, and it's like it's just a way to describe it. But yeah, it is a technique that can help you get that mind body connection going.
I don't know why, but every time you said breathe with your butthole, breathe through your butthole, I just pictured that phrase being used in a new song with your voice in it. Breathe through your butthole.
I mean, could be. Breathe through your butthole.
I believe you. I'll have to try it out. But we have to move on.
Oh.
All right.
How many out there are breathing through your butthole right now?
Tell us on the Reddit if you're breathing through your butthole. Also, I'm actually disappointed. I have not seen anyone post news on the Reddit yet. Nobody has given me any news on the Reddit. I'm so sad.
They're too busy complaining.
They're not even complaining that much. They're too busy yelling about episode ideas or...
I had this one that was funny because I was looking for jacuzzis, and
did you see the one that I commented on? The person who searched for the Reddit just because of the shooting sports.
You commented on that?
Oh, there's a lot.
You did. Oh, yeah, I was looking at that one. I was very confused.
So confused.
Yeah, it's confusing. This is Anxiety Particular 363 said, I searched the subreddit to say this, that as a skeet trap shooter, I was absolutely cringing when Mark and Tyler were talking about shotgun sports in the Cyberpunk Olympics episode. No further explanation.
Yeah, and so I responded because I thought they were saying that the person we talked about was not actually doing trap shooting, because I glanced at it, I was tired, and I'll be honest, this is my fault. So I thought they were saying that the person we were talking about didn't shoot trap. And I'm like, no, they did. And then he's like, I said skeet/trap. So then I thought they were saying I didn't know it was a combined event. And wait, it isn't a combined event.
And
so it created this.
It was so bizarre because we had nothing but praise to say about the sport. And we described it accurately.
Yeah.
We described it actually extremely accurately. There were 5 positions in the one event that I was watching.
Trap shooting.
And they were going, and there was a clay pigeon that went out in a random direction. That all is true. That is and the guy did miss only 2 out of like 50 something shots.
48 out of 50.
It was everything we said was correct. So I looked at this and I'm like, what?
That's why I was confused too.
Why were you cringing? I didn't even know.
Apparently there was some confusion there. And first of all, I was never upset with this person. I just thought they were saying we were wrong about something when I was like, no, we were right. We were talking about it right. And so I was trying to be like, hey, like jokingly be like, maybe listen harder because we were right. And then I was like, oh, egg on my face. I didn't even read what you said. And then they're like, when they responded, they didn't read what I said. So there was a lot of confusion.
They didn't say anything. They just like, I was cringing.
Yeah, apparently they were talking about, well, the shooter gets the call when it's shot. And I'm like, well, we didn't. It's not like we did a primer on it. Like we talked about it and praised the dude for the ability to do it. I don't know why you're cringing at us complimenting your sport. And that's why I was like, I'm sorry that your sport makes you cringe.
Yeah, man, must be a shitty sport.
Apparently they were upset that it didn't get as much Olympic spotlight as it did. And that has to do with the fact that like people don't understand it. And it's also not a sport that's been exposed to a lot of people.
Why attack us? We mentioned it.
I know. I don't understand. This is why people don't talk about it.
Anyway, yeah. You.
But now we need to go into everyone's love from the Olympics, the Muffin Man. Norwegian swimmer Henrik Christensen's love of muffins went viral due to his TikToks about muffins. His drawer full of muffins.
Wow, 4 muffins.
But apparently there's like more. So there's a bunch of videos of him talking about the muffins.
Yeah. I hadn't seen anything about the Muffin Man, so I do not know about this.
And so he just made a ton of TikToks of him eating the muffins and complimenting about the muffins. And other people in the Olympic Village also noticed his love of muffins. So like he exploded because everyone was talking about this muffin-loving swimmer. And so he just blew up. And so everybody tuned in to watch his event, which was I believe it was a distance swimming event. And everyone was just waiting for him to finish. And I think he finished 10th. But everyone was obsessed with the Muffin Man. What's the Muffin Man doing? How's he doing? How good is the Muffin Man?
I didn't hear about this at all.
You didn't hear of Muffin Man?
No.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
No.
The one who lives on Drury Lane?
No.
But he blew up. And it was all about the muffins. And people were obsessed with him and his muffins and his love of the muffins in Paris and in the Olympic Village.
One thing that people don't understand about us and anyone is if we say something that's slightly wrong. Okay, this is about Q-tips. Okay, so there's a post on Distractable as well, but it relates to this because it just doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Because people just assume that we're fucking idiots.
I mean, that's true. People do assume we're idiots.
I must have talked about Q-tips or something. I don't even remember what it is, but there's a post on the Distractable subreddit that's like, Q-tips are not made for the ears, Mark. You're not supposed to use Q-tips for your ear. People do this all the time. We're like, no, wait, don't do it. No. Oh, I am 35 years old. I've been around the block a few times now. I know Q-tips are not meant for the ears. I'm gonna do it anyway.
I mean, I don't, the thing is, the reason they tell you not to use Q-tips on the ears is because people stick them in too far and burst their eardrums or they impact the wax.
Yeah, they impact the wax.
If you don't push them in far, you can clean out like the outer edge without it pushing it back.
What people don't do is the proper spin technique.
Yes.
You're not supposed to just pow, pow, pow. You gotta spin.
Plunge it out of them.
Oh, the works. No, it's look, I've refined a technique since I was like 8 years old. And hey, I've had my ears checked. They're perfectly fine. I have great hearing and everything is wonderful. And boy, is it just feels nice. It's like scratching an itch.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even need it. Sometimes I just grab a Q-tip, go, and I know it's not meant for it. They put that on the box.
It literally warns you.
But they put it way after Q-tips were invented. Yeah. Way after, because hey, back then in the day, it was like stick it here, but some idiots don't have the fine motor control to not kill themselves with a Q-tip, so they put the warning on it. This is America.
Yeah, there's a reason we don't put that says do not microwave on things because people sue people if they don't get warned to not use something wrong.
It's so silly.
Yes,
but I know the dangers.
He assumes the risk.
I'm not stupid. I'm ignorant.
You're stubborn.
I'm reckless, not dumb.
There's a difference, okay?
It's calculated, not foolish.
It's like assumed risk. It's like I've gone free solo climbing. I recognize I could die doing it, but I also know my ability and don't push myself too far. And if something happens, it's my fault. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about the feel-good stories for now. So we've gotten through all of the feel-goods that I had. There is one really cool one that I think you'll like a lot. This was the first time we've ever seen a purple track.
That's nice.
Period. But what people don't know is the technology that was behind it. And it's made partially out of shellfish.
So the track that they're using for the Paris Olympics this year is pretty darn special. Here's why. First, it's the first time it's ever been purple. And it's actually only the second time it's been any color besides like the normal brick red color. The only other time it's been a different color for the Olympics was Rio 2016 where it was blue. Second, it's made from 50% recycled material, which includes clam and mussel shells, ground down into a fine powder and used in the materials. And third, the designers behind the track have engineered possibly the most responsive track surface they've made yet.
Which means it's bouncy.
All the Olympic tracks for like the last 40 years. Now they did develop a new track material for Tokyo 2020, and that year several Olympic records were broken. And they're saying that this year's material should be 2% faster. I don't really know what that's supposed to mean though. Maybe we'll see some more records broken this year.
So the interesting thing, and this is something that's talked about a lot of times, people think we've gotten faster, but what people don't realize is they used to run on dirt in what the shoes that they had back then. They didn't have a lot of spring. They didn't have a lot of bounce. They didn't have cleats to grab traction. It literally was a shoe on dirt. If you put some of the greatest Olympians, like Jesse Owens, on a track like this, there's a chance that they probably are at the level of Usain Bolt. Because by technology, we have advanced so far with relation to increasing the speed capabilities because of the responsiveness and the bounce on the track to allow them to have more explosion out of their steps. And so the most interesting part about this is obviously we're trying to be more efficient with our material usage and less wasteful. And so when they built this track, they actually implemented it using the shellfish and recycled materials and have advanced technology so much, like he said, to be 2% faster than it was when they made it in Tokyo, which 2% may not seem like a lot, but when it comes down to hundreds of thousandths of a second, 2% is an insane amount.
I'm guessing they're just saying 2% springier or something like that. I don't know if that could, how could that translate directly to speed?
But it could be traction, it could be grip, it could be a number of different other things.
Is it 2% of the percentage increase that it gave people, or?
It's 2% like more efficient. And they could be doing, there's clear ways to test it scientifically. But it could be relation to bounce, because responsiveness, how much give it actually gives when your cleats dig in. Mm-hmm. So if you're able to, when your cleats hit and you pull, because that resistance, that friction coefficient is important in determining how much response you get from your actual muscle stimulation, from your Achilles to your calves up to your hip flexors and your quads as you continue to step and push forward to increase your speed. It then has more give to it in the sense of it gives that force back that you have pushed into the ground to become forward momentum.
Why don't they just put springs on their shoes?
Because that would not exactly be efficient for how running works.
Oh, sorry. In 100 years, we'll have springs on the shoes because
in 100 years, we'll have jets.
It's this incremental march of like, well, it's okay. Oh, let's make a track springer. Let's make the shoe springer. It's like everyone should be naked.
It's true.
I'm actually serious. Like, you should run barefoot. You should run
in the dirt.
In the dirt. You should run naked. You could have a loincloth. That's as much as I would allow, or a thong, and that's it. Period. Because I appreciate the technological advancements, but part of me is like, when's it going to be springs on the shoes for high jump? And when is it going to be?
And how do we determine that a world record was broken based on human performance versus the technological advancement?
Yeah, exactly.
Which was talked about with the NASA designed swimsuits back when Michael Phelps was swimming.
Yeah. And if you're going to create a special track, then people could run barefoot because there's not going to be glass on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, unless they break glass on the track.
You know, the glass they got on the track there?
Yeah, the champagne glasses after they won the gold. Don't ask me what
are we doing? What happened to us? No, but I'm kind of serious about it, because it's like, it makes sense that if you are trying to measure human performance, the foot, it's a great design. It is meant for gripping with your toes. And there's kind of now this thought mentality of like, oh, these closed like tight fronts of shoes where your toes are bunched up, that doesn't allow you to use your toes. Shoes in general don't allow you to use your toes. And I'm not a big like toe shoe kind of guy, but I am more about like, oh, you should be able to actually grip the ground with your toes. That's an important feature of the human condition of standing on two legs. The reason that we can be stable is because we can apply a lot of force through our toes. The shortness of the toe is actually a mechanical advantage because it allows you to apply so much more short force across a very short fulcrum. The arm is actually really inefficient. Leg, very inefficient. That's why the muscles are so damn big, because the angles of which force is applied is so small. But the toes are incredibly strong because of the angles of which they can apply force. And you can grip the ground really, really strongly. So I'm like, we should all be barefoot. We should all be naked. Let's get naked right now.
Bleep, 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 bleep. All right. Did you have anything else you wanted to break up before we wrap up this episode?
Other things that occurred. Once again, climbing, which was introduced in Tokyo, killer to watch.
Oh yeah,
so fun to watch.
Especially speed climbing. The guy broke his own world record.
I saw that, and a lot of records were being broken. I would love to see 200 feet speed climbing. I want to see a taller speed climb because it's too quick. The record was like 4 seconds that they 4 seconds something that they broke. I want to see the 50-meter climb sprint. I want to see the 100-meter climb sprint. I want to see a 200-meter climb sprint. I want it to go so fucking high that it's death-defyingly dangerous. I want to see these because it's like you got the 200-meter sprint, 100-meter, 400-meter. You got the 1,600-meter. I want higher and higher.
Yeah, 1,000 vertical feet.
Literally, I want them to build it on the side of a building. They do all these accommodations for the other sporting events. Why not use the city? You can put a rock wall on the side of a building. That would be fucking awesome.
I also like the idea of speed climbing being less like, it really seems like they really give them formed kind of like ladders to sprint off.
Yeah, they're
which
very
I
advanced.
totally understand.
Mm-hmm.
But that also doesn't cater itself to the actual technique of climbing. So like, I would love to have them do difficult climbs like a 510 and have people race up the 510s, and the courses are the same, and it's just side-by-side dueling climbers.
Yeah.
And you have a timer running. It's not that they can sprint up it. They have to be really dedicated because then if they fall, they got to restart.
Technically, they kind of do with the lead climbing event.
Yeah.
Like that does have a bit of that. They're not doing side by side because it's just the one wall. But this is where I'm like, they should, because it's more of a spectacle if they are performing side by side, as opposed to just going up and they see this is where they get third, this is where they get second, this is where they get first. If they have them side by side, they should, because climbing is clearly such a beautiful event to watch. It's so fun. It's great. It's successful. It works. It's going to be in future Olympics. Let's give it the same kind of the same kind of accommodations that swimming has, that track and field has. It clearly is just another way. Instead of swimming, instead of running, it's going up. It's great.
Especially in LA, they're doing the swimming in SoFi Stadium. Imagine if they did the climbing on the outside of SoFi Stadium.
That would be awesome. They should give it the same respect it deserves, and they should create the spectacle that they have for the other events.
Especially in LA, like climbing is such a big thing in Los Angeles, in the western states in particular. So I think it would be a great chance for them to add on to what climbing already is.
I want to see. Oh, can you imagine it? Okay, so it's like there's 4 lanes, right? 4 speed climbing. They go up. They have to rappel down, so they have to go down at a steady rate. As soon as they get down, the wall goes turns around another, and they go up as soon as it's ready. If you go too soon, you're crushed in the wall. It's part of the risk. Oh, it'd be great.
It's like Legend of the Hidden Temple, but adult version.
Yeah, or it's a big fucking wheel, so you got to climb up before the wheel goes down towards you.
Oh my
so
god!
The incline gets
and there's
more.
spikes and flames below you.
Yeah, and you got to flip over the other side, climb up that one before it goes, and then it's like a big plus sign. So it's like going like this, and you got to get through all 4 before you win. And if you get sent down the pit, dead.
The most high stakes of Olympics.
Put me in charge.
It's literally going back to the history of the games.
But I mean, like, they should have something like this. I mean, they have it in Cirque du Soleil where, you know, they got the big flipping walls. You know?
Listen, I'm still sad that American Gladiator is gone because I loved that show and I always wanted to be in it.
Now's a chance.
It's over.
Bring in the Olympics. No,
exactly.
no.
Oh, Olympic Gladiators.
No, but that's it.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening and in particular watching, because there were plenty of videos that we showed today. If you don't know where to watch, Spotify, where we live, video exclusive. Go check out our store. We do have merch and there might be new items coming up in the merch store sometime soon. If people get back to me, because I might be getting our old merch back because of an email that I got. The stuff from the company that wanted, I might be getting that stock back, which means we might be able to sell it to you guys.
Oh my God.
That would be huge.
I was going to pack it himself. Poof. All right. Okay. That's the timer. We got to run.
Yeah, we got to go. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any news to share with us, if you have any jacuzzas for us, or if you have any episode suggestions, make sure and put them on the Reddit. It is reddit.com/r/gmfst. There are flares for each one of those, so make sure and use the proper flare when sharing. We would love to get news outside the US. Please help us, because news inside the US is very catered to the news that's happening in the US and not to the world news. So if there's something happening near you or something in particular in sports or otherwise that you think we should touch on that is outside of the US and the US has not talked about it, we'd love to hear it from you. Even if you think US might have talked about it, please share it with us on the Reddit. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.